The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, yes, it's still actually a thing and it's still happening and it has a release date for 2027. We're getting casting news now, and this isn't a rumour, this isn't coming from a My Time to Shine or anything, this is coming from Sir Ian McKellen himself, and it's not just him confirming that, of course, he's coming back, but Frodo is set to return. How, when this is a prequel? Not quite sure, unless it's the story from the perspective of maybe Frodo and Gandalf, and then we kind of go into the past. So he doesn't elaborate on exactly how Frodo is coming back, but we are getting more news on what to expect, and we find out where and how he said this. So let's have a look. So, in The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, Andy Serkis is pulling double duty, stepping back into the role of Gollum while also occupying the director's chair. Famed for mocap roles, Serkis' directorial credits include Mogwai, Legend of the Jungle, and Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Two movies you probably don't want to be listing, to be quite honest, so it continues anyway. The highly anticipated prequel is already locked in for a December 17th, 2027 theatrical release, with longtime Lord of the Rings guardians Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens producing. Drawing from Tolkien's appendices, the film promises a darker, psychological spin on Middle-earth, following Gandalf and Aragorn as they hunt Gollum across the land in a desperate bid to keep him from betraying the One Ring to Sauron. Alongside the chase, audiences will get an intimate dive into Gollum's fractured psyche, exploring the ceaseless tug-of-war between Smeagol and his darker half. Though unconfirmed, industry chatter suggests heavy use of de-aging tech to present Gandalf and Aragorn at earlier points in their lives. Cameras are set to roll in mid-2025. We're past mid-2025 now, so that part makes no sense, with the project currently in pre-production. Over the weekend, Ian McKellen recently appeared at the For the Love of Fantasy fan event in London, where he confirmed his return as Gandalf, while also teasing the unexpected comeback of Elijah Wood's Frodo. So, this is what he teased, saying, "I'll tell you two secrets about the casting. There's a character in the movie called Frodo, and there's a character in the movie called Gandalf. And apart from that, my lips are sealed." So that's him saying that Frodo and Gandalf are back. So after the events of The Hobbit, Gollum became utterly obsessed with reclaiming the One Ring. When Bilbo Baggins took it from him in the depths of the Misty Mountains, his mind fractured further, consumed by rage and a burning hatred for Baggins. For the first time in centuries, Gollum abandoned his cave and set out into the wider world, determined to track down the thief. His dangerous pursuit left Gandalf and Aragorn deeply concerned, after they feared Gollum's movements could ultimately reveal the ring's whereabouts to Sauron. Gollum's quest eventually led him to be captured by Aragorn, who delivered him to Gandalf for interrogation. He would eventually break free, only to be recaptured again, this time by Sauron's forces, who learned from Gollum that a hobbit had taken the ring, setting off the grand adventure seen in 2001's The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings. So, that's everything we're being told so far. So we now know that it's coming out in the 17th of December 2027. We of course knew that Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens were producing, but it's the fact that Ian McKellen himself has confirmed that Frodo somehow is going to be in this movie. So unless the movie kind of ends with basically the beginning of the Fellowship of the Rings, I don't know how that works because Gollum wouldn't have been there. So what way are they going to do the story? Because if Frodo is showing up in some way, I don't know how that works. Unless, of course, as I said, it could be that the opening of the movie is Frodo and Gandalf basically reminiscing about the journey to destroy the One Ring, and it comes up about Gollum, and then it kind of goes back to the past of Gollum basically becoming Gollum and stuff like that. That's the only real way I can figure out how they could do it, because other than that, it really wouldn't make all that much sense that Gollum would be talking about Frodo or anything like that, or how Frodo could possibly return. Unless, of course, Ian McKellen was confused and he was meant to say Aragorn instead of Frodo, but you know, it's not likely that that's the case, because they're not exactly similar names, are they? Aragorn, Frodo. You know, it seems like highly unlikely that it was a slip of the tongue to say Frodo instead of a different name. Either way, it's interesting. I don't particularly know how well this movie will be received, being the fact that it's focusing on Gollum. I don't think a lot of people are too enthusiastic about that. But then having Andy Serkis direct it as well, and of course the first films they name here are Mogwai, Legend of the Jungle, and Venom, Let There Be Carnage. That Mogwai movie, I don't think Mowgli, anyone had seen that. I don't know if anyone who's actually watched that thing, did it even come out onto the big screen, or did they just dump it onto a streaming service? I don't know, I can't remember. Was I calling it Mowgli the whole time instead of Mogwai? Was I calling it Mogwai instead of Mowgli the whole time? If that's the case, oops. Oopsie poopsies. Yeah, I don't know why I was calling it that. Either way, I never saw it. Let There Be Carnage. Look, they're a guilty pleasure for me, basically. I enjoyed the Venom movies. Yeah, Carnage was wasted in it, of course, especially by killing him off at the end. It was like dumb, but he's not exactly a winning director, so you know, I think that's where people will be a bit hesitant with this as well. It's like, ugh, do we really want him to direct it? You know, surely there could be someone better. We don't know. Look, the good part about it is the fact that the likes of Peter Jackson and stuff will be there as well, helping him. So I think he's got a lot stronger people around him to help him focus and show him the direction to go in and stuff like that. So I think that's a plus side of the whole thing. I'm still not sold on the idea of a Gollum movie though. I just think that's a bit weird. It's like, why do you want to do a Gollum movie? Mind you, from the sounds of it, we could be seeing a lot more of Gandalf and Aragorn as opposed to fully sticking with Gollum. So I don't know what to really make of this movie. But yeah, it's interesting, but as well, a little confusing saying that Frodo is going to be in this thing as well. I can't really work that one out. But do let me know what you think of this. Are you excited for this movie? Do you care? Do let us know. And what do you think of the idea of somehow Frodo going to be in here as well? Let us know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can check out other Lord of the Ring videos I've done, including, God help us all, the reviews for Rings of Power. Yeah, that's a thing. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.